Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissick and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissick.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Hey, Dana, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, good. I can tell by your background you're in South Carolina.
Yep, I'm in Charleston in our new podcast room. I still got a couple things to do, but it's coming along. And thanks to Kate, I'm hopefully getting my new microphone set up this weekend and getting the whole spiel so we can take it to the next level. And I know you're working on your podcast room too.
Yep. We're going to be all professional about it.
We are.
Excited to have our guest today, Ryan Riddell and Trent Barga. And Dana, why don't you kind of give them an idea of why we wanted to bring these guys on as our guest?
Yeah, love to. Thank you guys for being on. We're super excited to have you. So these guys have done some pretty incredible, what would you call it? I'm going to say a marketing activity for realtors lately. And in our world at KW, we call it a reverse bold 100. For other people that might not know what that is, it's instead of you going out and prospecting, people reverse that and they call you, they come to you. And so I think Ryan originally started this with his team, and then together he and Trent pulled it in and did it as an entire market center event, which is amazing. But what we wanted our listeners how they could do this even on their own for their own real estate business. So I'll let you guys explain it. We'll let you guys kind of talk about it and explain it. Whoever wants to kick off first, but welcome and thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us, and it's an honor to be on here with you guys. So, anyways, hopefully we can help you, at least give you some info that'll be helpful. I was always good at calling people that I didn't know, Dana and Linda, and I was not really on my database. So, working for sale by owners, working expireds, I could make the contacts and not have any issue. The challenge, though, is trying to creatively, for me anyways, reach into my database and feed that database and, nurture it and also grow it. And so my MAPS coach talked to us about this reverse bold idea. And so anyways, running it by Trent. Trent's my team leader, and my team, what we did for Father's Day, we did a grill giveaway. I know it sounds crazy, but we did a grill giveaway, a lot of social media, and involved a lot of, there were activities that we had in place to reach into our sphere. And, we walked away from that grill giveaway with, 100 people that called in. We had 107 people that called in. And we had 19 referrals. And so anyways, taking that back to Trent and the market center, we decided to do something bigger, and that was do a season ticket giveaway with the Bengals, and we made that available for all of our agents here in the market center.
Trent, will you talk? Ryan, thanks for sharing that. Well, actually, first, Ryan, how big is your team? What will you guys do this year, just so people have a kind of around?
Yeah, last year we did just over 30 million, and this year we're tracking. We're going to hit just above that, so right around 30 million.
Awesome, that's great. Trent, do you want to talk a little bit about why this would be important for an agent to do, whether their office is doing it or not, but just kind of for themselves before we get into like the details of it?
Yeah. To Ryan's point, I think a lot of agents don't like calling people they know. So instead of that, you give them a reason to call you. So we're all afraid, like every time you call a client, is that agent just asking for referrals, right? If you get the automatic response, hey, I don't know anyone, it's like the worst thing you get. So it's a good way to kind of give back and have people call you. So you can kind of sit back and let them call you. It's less of a sales pitch. You're trying to give back to your clients. So when you get it done, it's kind of, you're giving something in return, I guess. It's the best way to phrase it. So when you do it as an agent or like a team, you can really build momentum. You can advertise it. It's part of your 36 or 90 touch, whatever you want to do, because you could reach out to someone 10 times, 5 times about it, with emails and texts and just notifications about it, and then let those phone calls come in and just really build those relationships and really advertise it. So it's a good way just to market yourself and reach out to people other than asking about real estate and things like that. You're just giving back. That'd be the best example.
we've had a lot of people on before. Linda, we have had some guests who've talked about just ways that they touch their database and, all those types of things. The thing that I love about this is that you're actually giving people a reason to want to do it, because who wouldn't love to win season tickets to a sporting event or a grill or, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, so true. And, I always say we won't do things when we think we're doing something to someone, but when we think we're doing something for someone, it's a lot easier and more natural to do it. Ryan, I'm just curious, when your team did it, because it's been a while back, how many deals have you tracked back to that activity for your team?
Right now we're like at 6 deals. From that, but I think Linda, it's more than that too. It's really just the attention that we were able to draw on social media, and the neighborhoods and the communities that we serve, the people that are in our sphere. We see them at ball games or see them out, and they're like, "Hey, man, I really wanted a chance to win that grill." You know what I mean? It was like it's kind of like a you always talked about how you had a moving truck one day, back in the day, right? It's just it's getting your name in front of people, and our whole goal is to try to capture that mind share. When you ask somebody, "Hey, who's your accountant?" Normally they know who their accountant is, or their financial planner. They know who their financial planner is. They know who their doctor is. And our goal is to try to get capture that mind share. So when they think about anything that they need in the way of real estate, they think of us. They think of our team. So that's the goal. And it's not really how many deals that we draw from season tickets to Bengals games, or how many or giving away a grill. It's really about just the touches that you can manufacture by not doing something to someone, but doing something for someone. And so anyways, that's really what we're after, what we're striving for.
Because most people don't that are listening to this. We have a lot of people that are non-KW, so they don't really understand what your role is in a real estate office. So kind of give that little bit of background first, if you would, about you have a real estate business, and then you jumped on the leadership side. What does that look like, and what's your activities look like now, and why would you be doing this for your whole office?
Yeah, so the team leader role, basically, main thing is consulting with our agents and helping the office grow and try and provide resources or something that can help improve their business. So rather than being a real estate agent, it's a complete shift in how you do things, but it's been very interesting and great. I get to talk to a ton of agents who do business slightly differently, and I can relay that to other agents. So it's nice to do that. And then you're scared, and you got to think it's a larger contribution. Like if you're doing $1,000 grill and you've been in real estate for 2 or 3 years, like that's still a chunk of money that you're putting towards marketing that you don't know what you're going to get. It's just the unknown. So Ryan and a couple of agents in our office actually put the idea together, and they brought it to us. To be honest with you, I was a little skeptical. Like, well, are we going to get enough agents to contribute to it? Like, what are we going to do? I'm more the pessimistic route. Like, how can we plug the holes, make sure it works? But they kind of took off and ran with it. But the great part was you got the culture and a combination of a bunch of into a very large prize. Like a grill's a great giveaway. But when you have Bengals tickets that are $6,000 prize, but as an agent you only contribute $100 towards it. That's a very low risk, but there's super high reward. And then everyone across the Dayton area saw every agent's post, the follow-ups, the mailer today, send the emails, send the texts. So being able to mastermind with a bunch of other on one large gift that you can really contribute and is something worth paying for was really beneficial for the culture, and just especially new agents who didn't know how to do it yet. Like Ryan had the experience of being a team, being OP, being in real estate for 15 years. Whereas if you've been in real estate for a year, you're kind of like, so it was great.
I love it. I love the energy you guys created from it. The energy was just explosive.
Yeah, Linda, I would just add to what Trent just said. I have $900 more in a stinking grill than I do for a $6,200 prize pack for season tickets to a Bengals game, and we got the same bang for the buck. And what's cool, I don't know if you mentioned not everyone's a KW agent on this call, but what's great about Keller Williams is that we have the freedom to brand ourselves, right? When we did this activity as an office collectively, for $100, that single agent could do, they were able to take advantage of what a big team was able to do. Otherwise they may not be able to afford that, right? And everything was branded to the individual, not to the office. So that's a huge benefit, and I think that's another reason why Dana, you mentioned, or Linda, you mentioned that there was so much energy wrapped around it. The energy, I think, was that everyone was offering this to their own database, and it was coming from not coming from an office, if that makes sense.
So even if we have agents that are listening that maybe their office isn't doing that, one, check with your office first and bring the idea to your leadership, I think. And then two, even if they're not, maybe you go in with 5 or 6 or 10 of your agent peer friends inside of your office and come together and do something big, just to start it instead of having to do something totally on your own. Now, if you were a team like you are, Ryan, I think that's awesome. We are doing this in January. My team is, and we're getting ready to start pumping up to do it now. Thanks to you guys for sharing how you did it all.
That's awesome.
But I think even going in and sharing would be good. Can you kind of speak on the logistics of exactly how you guys did it and just everything around the how, if people are interested in it?
And maybe even what you do differently next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the way of a team, in the way of the team, or in the way of the office, which are you asking, Dana?
Maybe do the office, just because it was such a great. I mean, yours was too, Ryan, and the office was more recent. So maybe talk about that, and people can take nuggets away from that too.
Yeah, Trent, I can kick in first. I think there's two components there. There's the inward, the inward facing. Inward, you have to get this message out inwardly, within the office, right? And if it's a team, you got to get it to the team. The team has to buy in. The office has to buy in. You got to sell them on the idea of what it is, and that's what we had to do. And so, as an office, we needed like 5,200. We needed 52 agents to participate in the $6,200 giveaway, and the office kicked in like $1,000, and the agents, each kicked in $100. And so, we wanted as many agents as possible to participate, and so there was a little bit of a campaign that took place to do that, right? And then after we get everyone, in the office signed on, then it was the outward facing stuff. And it's not something you just do the day of, but for us, it was something that led up to that, right? So 2 months ahead of time, I think it was maybe 6 weeks ahead of time, we started putting stuff out. We had some branding that said, this is coming, we're going to give this away, right? These tickets or this grill. And so we started putting it on social media. We started doing some, make it a part of our drip campaigns. Really good, because it gave us an opportunity to Facebook message and call our database. So it was I think I counted, it's like we had like 8 touches with this whole thing, right, into our database. And so we were able to connect with people, and we had purpose and a reason to connect. And that's what I mean about oftentimes I've struggled calling the database, but when you've got something to offer folks, man, it totally takes that away. And so I look forward to calling them. Hey, we got this coming. You know what I mean? And so then we started posting on social media, and what we did, Dana, we made it an event. So it was an event on Facebook, right, where people would actually even register or basically sign up to attend that. Trent, jump in if I'm missing something. But with the office, we had specific hours. It was going to be a specific day. I think we did it on a Wednesday, Trent. Is that right? Wednesday or Thursday? And it was like the time was between 11 and 7 o'clock. And what we encouraged all the agents to be there, and people within that timeline would call in. And when they would call in, they would give us, to register for those tickets, to register for the drawing. They would call in, and they would give us their name, their address, their email. You know what I mean? And then what we did was we said at the end we would ask them if they knew anyone that was looking to buy a home, sell a home, or if they were actively looking to invest in real estate. If they gave us that referral, they had 10 additional entries, okay, and into the drawing. And so anyways, that's why we had so many referrals to come from from the giveaway. And then, that was from 11 to 7. The whole office was like, man, it was crazy, man. We all dressed up in bingo gear and, crazy stuff. We had decorated the office with, football stuff and kind of a tailgate party. We had food and all kinds of things coming in. It was just a lot of energy, Trent. It was really, really a good atmosphere. And it seemed like a call center. The phones were literally ringing that much. And so anyways, then we did the drawing at 8:00 and posted the winner. Is that right, Trent? Anything? Did I miss anything?
No, I think you kind of got on. We decorated the announcements at the office meetings about contribute to it. I think the key part wasn't like me and Ryan up there talking. It was a couple other agents we helped put it together so they understood the value of it and more importantly, explain what the 100 is. It was really fun. You got to talk to other people, give each other ideas. Like, hey, start messaging people on Facebook. Ryan and Ben and some other agents, every hour they'd come out like, hey, do this now. Like, hey, start make a post on Facebook. Start messaging everybody. So every hour they had something like keep it going instead of just sitting there. So it's just a combination of everything and people being really invested in it. I mean, one agent was up at 4 a.m. doing it. He had like 70 calls. Tony office like 70 some calls the first hour. But he was up at 4 and really pushed it. So you really saw who really advertised and pushed and did it correctly versus some who just kind of haphazardly did it. So,
hey Trent, 2 quick questions. The 8 touches that you did before, were those just a mix of emails and calls?
Yeah, just mixing it up, and
Okay.
and dripping in different ways.
Okay, and then on the event on Facebook to register, did you guys just have all your agents a part of that, and then the agents just went and invited everybody in their database to the event, or how did that work? Or the event was just for the agents?
They created their own event. So again, we want to make sure it's agent related. So
each agent created their own event?
Yeah, that's right. Nothing, Dana, nothing was tailored, you know what I mean, to the office, right? Everything came from the individual agent or team.
Yep, got it.
So I have a question. What were some unintended gifts that you got from doing this that you weren't expecting? What were some things that were kind of unexpected benefits of doing this that you didn't realize? I know, for example, I was meeting with a potential recruit right after y'all had done that, and they had seen it all over Facebook. So things like that. What were some unintended things that you didn't realize were going to be gifts from doing this that you got?
I coach a little league baseball team, little travel select team, and so I was coach of third base, and the coach that we were playing against said, "Hey, Riddell, I saw." He said, "I called in trying to win those Bengals tickets." And I said, "You did, Davey." We were chatting it up, and then his assistant coach said, "Hey, wait a minute, my realtor was doing that too." And come to find out, his realtor was Jeff Probst in my office. You know what I mean? And so, anyways, it was just really kind of cool. I mean, I think the reach. I think that was. We just didn't realize, the reach that kind of went with that, right? It was a big prize, and I think that the word got out, and I think that the outward, I just didn't realize how far it would go. Something else too, Trent and I are in the business of building offices, Linda, and you know that, right? And running the team's one thing, but owning a market center with Trent and with others is another piece of that. And I think it gave us something to talk to agents about, Trent. Did it not? I mean, in terms of kind of just people were interested in other agents, were interested in what we're doing, and they saw kind of collectively our culture in action, which I think was pretty powerful.
So, what has been, what do you do next? I mean, my business psychotherapist said years ago, I had finished a marathon and all of a sudden I didn't put my tennis shoes on for 4 months. And he said, the problem when you do a big anything is you don't put something else behind it. And so the energy goes really high and then it just dies. So what are some ideas you guys are going to do to kind of keep that energy and that synergy going after something big like you just did?
Well, we're not in South Carolina or Texas, right? We're in Ohio. So, and in February, Ohio gets a little bit cold and dreary, and so we're thinking a big vacation is what we're thinking. As an office, like a all inclusive type thing, and so we're gearing up for that, Linda, and I think we're going to have a lot of participation.
Yeah, I've often said building Ohio Valley would have been easier if I'd have just went to Florida and waited till everybody got there.
So what would be one piece of advice each of you would give to an agent if they're gonna go back and plan to implement something like this?
One thing I could think is make sure you have it built out. Yeah, make sure you struck. So also when you get out to the people that they call in or they respond, more importantly, the follow up. I mean, on ours we had over 1,300 phone calls and 400 referrals. So for me, it's making sure those agents follow up with them afterwards, because you do all the work and spend the money up front. Make sure you do the most important work, the follow up in the back end, and reach out with them and make sure you close those deals.
Yeah, I mean, 400 referrals as an office. As an office owner, I'm looking at the company dollar, Dana, that comes out of that. You know what I mean? So, I think one thing that I would encourage folks to do is take their database seriously, and don't do what I did. I spent 15 years calling people that I did not know and kind of ignoring those that I did know, and it's so much easier, and your marketing costs are not nearly as you don't have near the cost in dripping on, or at least calling on and feeding that data and working with folks that and I just if I would have known this 10, 15, 20 years ago, I think it would have made a huge difference in my sphere of influence, my what we call have-mets, right? So anyways, I think that's what my takeaway was, and it gives me a reason to call the people that I love the most, and I'm not asking them for anything, I'm giving them something.
Yeah, I love it. And one thing I saw from the outside looking in, you guys, your poor admin people, y'all, nobody expected that kind of response. So maybe either bump up the number the agents give and they get a little massage of their fingers after the thing, or you figure out somehow to administratively handle, because they were like busy like crazy, right, writing out the information and stuff like that.
Yeah, they were overloaded, that's for sure.
Which is a great problem to have, right? You don't want the other. They're not busy at all. That was awesome. Well, first of all, congratulations, guys, for thinking out of the box and caring enough about your agents to do something that's big and scary to do by yourself. But I'm sure a lot more of your agents now have the confidence, having been involved with you guys, to now go out and do it on their own and spread their name and their message even broader. So awesome. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you so much. And just remember, if you have a question, a comment, or a challenge that you'd like for Dana and I to discuss on the podcast, or if you can think of someone that has a great story you'd like for us to feature, be sure and reach out to us at info@everything life and real estate. And if you hadn't hit subscribe, please do that now. And the greatest compliment you can give Dana and I is two things. One, give us a 5-star review, and number two, to pass our podcast along to any realtors that you believe that would benefit from our conversations. And I just want to say, Ryan and Trent, thank you so much for being industry leaders and caring enough about your agents to create energy and synergy around them doing something that, quite honestly, like you said, Ryan, most people don't want to do, which is feel like they're bothering their database.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.